Welcome to today's Explainer. Today we are unpacking a concept that touches on a universally terrifying experience for pretty much all of us. The sheer, gripping anxiety of trying to master a brand new skill while an audience is watching your every move. We're going to be diving deep into the honest art of eloquence, breaking down the psychology of how we learn, and seeing exactly why vulnerability is literally the ultimate tool for overcoming our fear of failure. So I have to ask, have you ever just completely frozen up when learning something new? Put yourself back in that moment for a second. Maybe you were standing at a whiteboard trying to pronounce a foreign word or, fumbling around with some complex new software and you just felt completely paralyzed. Maybe you were even mocked a little. It's a deeply uncomfortable mental state to be in, right? But as we'll see today, that discomfort, it's actually the gateway to mastery. All right, let's jump right into section 1, the classroom challenge. Our source material takes us straight into a super relatable environment, a typical school classroom. And here we meet our case study, a shy boy named Rohan. The inciting incident for him is really simple but incredibly paralyzing, the struggle to speak English aloud. When his teacher asks him to read in front of everyone, this wave of nervous tension immediately grips him. It is that classic deer-in-the-headlights cognitive freeze we all get when our brains are forced to perform a really complex, unmastered task while everyone is staring right at us. Just imagine the environmental pressure cooker building up here, compounding all of Rohan's anxiety. First, he's put on the spot and asked to read aloud. Then, completely naturally, because he's a beginner, he makes mistakes. But that third step is where the room turns hostile. His classmates actually start laughing at him. This kind of external pressure causes a massive spike in anxiety, which completely overwhelms his working memory. The result? Rohan just freezes. He stops speaking entirely. The whole learning process basically hits a brick wall. Which brings us to section 2, honesty as a strength. So how in the world do we get around that massive brick wall of anxiety? Well, this is exactly where Rohan pivots away from the freeze response and leans straight into vulnerability. He stops, gathers himself, and says, "Ma'am, I am trying, but my English is not perfect." By just admitting his current limitations out loud, he instantly diffuses the tension in the room. He completely strips away the shame by just acknowledging reality. He leaves absolutely zero ego for his classmates to attack. And the environment responds beautifully to that radical honesty. His teacher smiles kindly and just validates him, saying, "That's okay, Rohan. Honesty is your strength. Keep trying." The absolutely crucial takeaway here is how this single moment of validation shifts his entire focus. He no longer has to waste any mental energy pretending to be perfect. He finally has the green light to focus completely on the messy, imperfect process of actually learning. Almost immediately, we start to see the ripple effects. Encouraged to take his time and speak slowly, Rohan keeps reading. Now, he's still making small mistakes, but the dynamic in the room has shifted entirely. His honest effort actually prompts supportive clapping and validation from his peers. Someone even calls out a simple "good job." So his vulnerability literally transformed the classroom from an antagonistic space into a truly supportive learning environment. Moving right along to section 3, the practice routine. Now, mindset alone doesn't magically build a skill, right? The real secret is the dedicated effort you put in when nobody else is watching. Rowan's at-home method is honestly a masterclass in structured practice. Step 1, he practices right in front of a mirror, which forces visual self-awareness. Step 2, he speaks really simple, fundamental sentences like, "My name is Rohan," breaking a huge, overwhelming task into manageable little blocks. And step 3, active, positive reinforcement. Over the course of a few days, playing some soft motivational music in the background, he tells himself, "I will improve every day." He is meticulously engineering a positive feedback loop right in his own brain. And finally, section 4, the final payoff. Bringing our explainer back into the classroom, we get to see the undeniable results of all that quiet discipline, and the contrast is just stark. Think back to his first attempt. He was nervous, he was mocked, and he completely shut down. But on his second attempt, he's speaking confidently. And the really key detail here is that he still makes small mistakes, but now he honestly self-corrects them out loud. His ongoing vulnerability, combined with genuine, hard-earned improvement, totally flips the script and actually earns him the applause of the entire class. His teacher perfectly synthesizes this entire journey for the classroom with one powerful statement. C, honesty and practice brings success. It's such a clear, actionable formula. Skill acquisition isn't just about grinding out the hours in your room, and it isn't just about emotionally admitting your flaws to people. It is the powerful, absolutely necessary intersection of those two things. Which leaves us with the ultimate takeaway for anyone out there trying to master something new. Be honest. Keep practicing. You will improve. It is basically a fundamental guarantee. When you drop that exhausting facade of perfection, admit exactly where you are in your journey, and put in the quiet, structured repetitions, your growth is going to become inevitable. So let's turn this whole thing back to you. What skill are you going to be honest about today? What is that one thing you've been putting off just because you're afraid to look like a beginner? I challenge you to embrace this level of vulnerability, build your own structured practice routine, and just watch how your skills transform. Thank you so much for joining me for today's explainer. Stay curious, and I'll catch you next time.